I'm Garrett Atkins, former CEO and current executive chairman and managing partner of Vi Media. And alongside me is Eric Brown, president and managing partner of Vi Media, the 22nd fastest growing company by revenue in the greater St. Louis metropolitan area, and the best marketing firm.
Ever? Is it ever?
I believe it is.
Ever.
Why would you listen to us, you might ask? Because today and every Monday, we share our experience running a marketing firm that has provided services to thousands of companies, ranging from well-renowned startups to Fortune 500 brands, and consulted for some of the biggest business badasses around.
That said, today we're going to start off with talking about using X and Twitter to grow small businesses or even medium-sized businesses, enterprises, whatever you have. And it's something, frankly, I am not super skilled at. You're a lot more familiar with it because with VGT, especially, that's like your biggest platform. That's how you guys are making a lot of your money, is through that platform. So let's just say you're a small business here in St. Louis. What should you be doing on X?
Most likely nothing.
Okay.
But I guess to update the audience on one thing that'll kind of help this come full circle is that I'm former CEO at Vi Media because I stepped down to give it to someone that was more passionate about running the company, which they are, Alex Dietrich, the man, the myth, the legend. He's doing a killer job. And now I'm running a video game journalism / technology / development company called VGT Gaming News, which is one of 6 brands I have that started on X as a single tweet that blew up. And since that tweet blew up, it gave me enough courage, I suppose, to chase something I've been wanting since, I don't know, I was 12 was the first time I thought about wanting to write at a place like IGN, which for those of you who don't know is the largest video game journalism company in the world. So I took a stab at it, and now we got a team of just under 20 video game journalists, graphic designers, etc. And that all started on X, but now we're on all major social media platforms, have a few websites and all that. And the reason I answered Eric's question by saying, when he asked me, if you're a small business here in the greater St. Louis metropolitan area, what should you do on X? And I respond, they probably shouldn't do it, is at the very least, you should post on it to let people know the lights are on. But for most businesses, you want to, due to the 22 immutable laws of marketing and many other marketing books, and
it's a good book if you haven't read it, by the way.
Amazing book. And you don't have to be a fan of marketing. You just need to be in business, and simply being in business is a good enough reason to read the 22 immutable laws of marketing.
Real quick, kind of off topic, on the podcast this week, we actually talked about how it seems like where we encounter issues with marketing and working with clients, it's actually the clients that understand and have a good understanding of marketing are the ones we want to work with, because they understand the value proposition, they understand data and analytics, they understand what they're actually looking at versus, frankly, a business owner that just doesn't have a good or even a basic understanding of digital marketing. If you're a business owner and going to be successful, you need to at least have a basic understanding. Like, you cannot be going to a marketing company saying, I don't understand a Google business profile, right? We have videos how to set it up on this channel. And of course you can go to a marketing agency, but if you yourself don't know how to set up this stuff, basic stuff that anyone should, you're putting yourself in a bad position.
I think the problem, and I'm going to piggyback on that, which will get us slightly more off topic for a tad bit longer, but that's okay. I think the problem is actually more fundamental than that. I think when people think of marketing, they think of hot words like SEO, PPC, for us, a digital foundation, or a logo. But marketing is a lot more than that. Factually, marketing is how a consumer or your target audience perceives your brand. And many things play into that, from the words you use on a flyer, the words you have on your website, the colors you use, whether you have brand cohesion across multiple platforms. For example, at West County Insulation, we chose black and gold simply because of what the subliminal messages behind those colors stand for, which is high-end luxurious, which is something that didn't quite exist as a brand within something as ugly and unsexy as insulation
Yeah, it was
is.
all red,
All
white.
basic contractor looking
Yeah,
stuff. All the
red,
websites
blue,
look
white.
gross.
I mean, that's pretty much what the colors are for contracting.
Yeah,
Almost all of them.
in yellow and black.
Yep.
Um, but marketing is a lot more than what people think it is. And that actually pivots perfectly into why you can use X for your business, regardless of what type of business it is. But you kind of have to take a step outside the box, as I explained that when you want to market on X, unless you are a video game journalism company where we're blessed enough to have a huge subset of like all the world's journalists, not just in the video game industry, but in movies, TV, politics, all the politicians, like X, or formerly Twitter, of course, but I'm going to call it X because I'm not an idiot, is it is like the Washington, D.C. of social media platforms. Whereas on Facebook, you're most likely not going to see Elon Musk, for example, even before he owned it and rebranded it to X, or your state governor, or the president even talk and possibly even respond to you. It's much more personal. That person,
do you think it's still the town square?
More so now than ever. Yes, I do. I mean, compared to any other platform,
is that exclusive
certainly.
to Twitter? Facebook is tough.
So
like use it in terms of like being a public square.
I'll answer that question simply by going over the other platforms. You post pictures and videos and receive comments on TikTok and Instagram. That goes out the window. That's not the town square. That's just where people look at you.
I guess you have Facebook groups, right?
You have Facebook groups, but you're not speaking to the whole world. That doesn't have the opportunity. Like VGT, for example, only exists because I put an idea out there into the ether of all of X. And it got picked up. If I did that in a Facebook group, the maximum amount of people that would have seen it would have been, maybe 5,000 to 15,000 people that were in the group instead of 5 million people that saw that tweet. Post. And what else do you have? You have YouTube. That's not a town square.
No.
People interact by liking, disliking, and commenting.
Probably the best comment section, though.
It is that and Reddit. Reddit is kind of like Facebook groups, but better, in my opinion. If you really boil it down, there's the front page, but besides that, it's kind of like Facebook groups.
There's good subreddits still.
Oh, yeah. Subreddit's great.
Reddit's kind of, I don't know. It's a little bit harder to use than it was back in the day. It's, they became advertiser friendly for one reason or another. Obviously, they want to be able to make money, but it seems like the content also that they push, the content that they used to push, I don't know, maybe it's just my account. It's probably not. I know it's not. But the content that they used to push be like wholesome memes subreddit. You know what I mean? AMAs, stuff like that. Now, I have multiple Reddit accounts. Now it's a lot of political stuff. Like a lot of it.
A lot of negativity, too.
And then when you go in the comments, it's more political stuff. I'm like, how is this? But then you also have subreddits that are good, like the entrepreneur subreddit.
The video game ones are good as well.
There's good marketing subreddits.
Yes.
But a lot of the mainstream ones are just...
Well, it's good that you talked about Reddit, is because Reddit, to get good on Reddit, which is arguably much easier to get good on than X, to get good on either, you have to take the same pathway. Reddit, luckily you join a subreddit, you're already in the bubble. On X, those same bubbles exist. There's just less defined walls. Those walls do exist, and those walls are the algorithm.
Yeah, so you've explained this to me, because I'm like, I just frankly don't use X. And I'm not a big proponent of using social media to begin with. I use YouTube for content because I like watching YouTube, but I don't really scroll on Facebook. I post on TikTok. I don't use it. I don't use X. And you explained to me, you're like, you need to in order to make X be useful for you.
I can actually walk people through it.
Yeah.
Real quick. I'll do the quick rundown, which is like, this goes for the first part of what I'm about to say, I would do on every platform.
Mm-hmm.
And I know people personally here in St. Louis that do very well on social media that followed the same formula and it's worked well for them. But
Yeah.
this is especially true for X. And let's say you just created your profile. Obviously, let's assume that you're professional. You have a good headshot. You got your presidential going.
Mm-hmm.
You got a nice banner photo. The banner photo sends a clear message of first, last name, and maybe 3 words about who you are, what you do.
Yep.
That way they can see at a glance, I relate, I don't relate.
Mm-hmm.
Professional looking bio or humorous, depending on what, niche you're going for. And then of course you have a link to a website or a link tree or something like that. After you're done with the basics and setting up the settings and 2-factor and all that jazz, immediately you want to go follow the exact type of people that are getting the action you want to get.
Okay.
So if you want to be a video game journalist or be a video game journalism company executive, go follow those types of people.
Yeah.
That immediately tells X, and this goes for, again, most social media platforms. This tells that platform what type of content you want to consume.
Yeah.
And it not as hard, but still tells the algorithm what type of content you plan to put out. Therefore, you are telling the algorithm, pretend it's a person that just speaks in a different language.
Sure.
You are speaking in its language, telling it who to show your content to when you finally do post. Then make sure you're posting about the topic that at the very start doesn't need to be, you're not going to jump onto X and suddenly have all the context you need to be an expert or authority figure, unless you're truly just an expert that wasn't on X before and you're one of the smartest people in the world on the subject matter and you just hop in and start spitting fire. That happens. But for the most part, you're going to get on X. You're going to follow the people that are already doing what you're doing. You don't want to follow too many people, especially at the beginning. And then you want to start posting valuable content. Like one thing, let's say you are a dumbass. You have no idea about your subject matter, but you hope to ascertain that knowledge in the future and become an authority figure.
Let's say you're starting a home service company.
Well, real quick.
Yeah.
Let's say you're really bad, because lots of people, like we've had business partners that were new back in the day that didn't know the first thing about the business they started.
Yeah. Yep.
You can go to Reddit. Go to a subreddit, and you know this as well as I do. You can go to a subreddit, which is where a lot of the world's memes originate from, and then circulate from there, and usually make it the X second, and then go to Facebook from there.
Yep.
You can go there, take the humorous content from there, repost it, or use it as inspiration to create your own similar message. But there's no shame in reposting either. As you know, that happens all day, every day.
Yeah.
Probably the people with the most karma on all of Reddit are the people who steal other people's content, probably.
Yeah. That's
Just
how, remember, that's how
reposters.
use Instagram used to be.
Yeah.
Remember the massive, it was Fuck Jerry.
Yeah.
Remember they would just take memes from people and not give credit and post them. And
100%.
they blew up. This was a while ago, but I remember then they started a marketing agency.
And this is someone's name. I'm not saying anything, but there's that
Fuck
user,
Jerry
the
was
Fat Jew.
Yeah.
Remember on
Yeah.
Facebook?
Yeah.
Does the same thing. That's all he does.
Yep.
That was someone's username. That said, after you follow the people, you start posting about the content, or again, worst case scenario, you have to go on Reddit and hunt down the existing content and post that. Most of the people that see your content probably haven't seen that meme, that piece of advice that wasn't even yours that you posted.
Yep.
Don't recommend plagiarizing, but I'm just saying there is zero excuse to not get started.
Yeah.
Even if you don't know anything.
Yep.
And you'll learn by reading, by going on Reddit every day, by reading all those things, especially by typing it up yourself and posting it.
Yep.
After, depending on how quick you are to
There's
pick
just
it up.
so much opportunity.
In what way?
Like back in the day, in order to ascertain knowledge, you had to go to the library, you read an encyclopedia, you talked to your dad's or your mom's friend or someone like that. You didn't have the internet.
Oh no. Yeah, no.
You couldn't
They
talk
had to go to the library.
right now. If I wanted to, like, let's just say, I do commercial HVAC or something. I get called about a job in Seattle. I can go on to probably some sort of subreddit or on Twitter, find an owner of an HVAC company that I could partner with for a job in Seattle.
Yeah.
Whereas before I'd be like, I don't know where to go. But I got the yellow pages, I guess.
No, people, I don't want to get off too off tangent, but people, in a lot of ways, life is headed in the wrong direction. But in many ways, we are extremely blessed to be able to have access. And we're basically cyborgs.
Yeah.
My phone's dead, but if it wasn't dead, I would be a cyborg.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just a much larger one right now because my iPad is alive. That said, after you start learning, and this is like the part that's really hard to articulate. As you know, I've been playing video games profusely for as long as I could pick up a controller, right?
Mm-hmm.
Playing video games, but also reading magazines until I had easy access to the internet as we got older. And then reading articles. You take in knowledge, and this doesn't just go for the video game industry, but really taking in knowledge. Once you do that enough, you actually are able to start forming original opinions.
Yeah.
And that takes time.
Yep.
Lots of people get extremely frustrated whenever they go and they want to start and they get perfection paralysis. And really, everyone calls it perfection paralysis, but most of the time it's not perfection paralysis. It's literally ignorance.
Yeah.
Scares them. They don't know what to say. They don't know what to put on their content calendar to get started.
Yeah.
Because they haven't walked the walk before, which is why I gave an easy way out. But the correct way out of that crappy zone you get locked in is just taking in knowledge to the point where you are in the zone of genius and have the contextual and situational knowledge that allows you to spot trends, that allows you to predict what's going to happen a month, 2 weeks, a year, 5 years from now within a certain industry, whether you're a stockbroker, a video game journalist, a developer, a marketing agency owner, in insurance, whatever the case may be. All of these industries, there are places online, which is the most vast thing in the world, is the internet. And there are places for everyone. I mean, there's like YouTube channels dedicated to people who want to make peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. That's true facts. And so if that exists,
I'm curious about that channel. I might need to learn a better way to make a PB&J.
I had 2 last night. They're fire. That said, getting in that zone of genius takes time. I don't know how long, because I've been doing video games for as long as I can remember. If I had to start from scratch on something, I mean, SEO, I'm in a zone of genius with that now because I've had to apply it to VGT. And I didn't start reading about that profusely until, I don't know, the past 2.5 to 3.5 years, because I relied on the team.
Yep.
Because they're always going to be bigger experts than I am at that, because they do it all day, every day.
So let's bring it back to the original question.
Yeah.
Are you saying that, like anything else in marketing, except for like Google Ads, this is going to take time?
In which case, you just hire us.
This is going to take time to make money, if ever, off of X, or really most social platforms to begin with.
I mean, there is a small chance that it doesn't take time because of virality.
Sure.
But for the most part, yes.
You can't approach it like that.
Any organic form, don't mean to be disheartening. And I look at time much differently than your average business person.
Just like SEO.
SEO takes patience.
It's not like
too,
something that even...
Depending on what industry.
Usually that's something that takes a year or more.
Depending, yes.
Yeah.
St. Louis Demolition Company, one of our companies, I mean, that was 3 months. But it was extremely undersaturated.
Yeah, I mean, you got to look at how many competitors there are and who's competing in that space. But if you're like a roofing company... Oh, yeah, no, that's going to take a year to 2 years if you're good. If you're good. If you're bad, you just... Never. Flush your money down the toilet. Yeah. And that's most companies trying to do SEO and roofing. So if you use X correctly, though, what you're saying is you can make it a valuable tool to at least learn. Well, let's say we only got to the part where you're getting started. So let's say you get in that zone of genius and you have people engaging with you. Right. Now, how does that help you? Now, that's why I say probably not. Yeah. Because for me, like Todd Howard, the director of Bethesda, which is one of the most
awarded video game development companies that made the Elder Scrolls
Release Starfield too early.
Skyrim, Starfield, and
say it out loud,
Fallout.
though.
He's not on social media at all, but most of the world's biggest video game developers, executives, etc., are on X.
Yeah.
Therefore, if my platform is on X and it's killing it, getting 100 million views every 2 months or so, they're going to take notice.
Yeah.
And them taking notice makes it easier for me to lock them up as an advertiser.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, a journalism outlet is not a truth-seeking organization.
Correct.
CNN, Fox, etc.
Correct.
But rather they are an advertising firm in their own right. And so for us, it makes sense. For a insulation company, I haven't used X's advertising platform yet, but I would imagine if you were to hit users with ads on X, most likely they have not seen that type of ad before, anything home service. So it could either be like, oh, you stand out because you are doing it.
Yeah.
Or I don't want to see this. That's not why I come here.
Sure.
This is an unknown that came into an area where I go to scroll to read about video games. So I won't talk on ads. I'm not an expert on ads on that platform specifically. But in regards to organic, and one thing I wanted to say earlier is that on average, there's been a lot of studies. On average, if you start today, create a profile on a new platform, and you post consistently, it takes 24 months on average to get a return on investment on your time.
Yep.
That's assuming you have a way to monetize.
Yep.
In fact. So, but being an authority figure is never bad. It's just like, who are you an authority figure of? Is your target audience even on X?
Right. So that's a big thing
that's why I tell everyone to not. I have mortgage clients that I consult, not company. I mean, we have mortgage company clients, but me personally, I have a mortgage company executive who I consult for. And I tell them, don't personal brand yourself as a mortgage guy. Personal brand yourself as an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
His goal is to recruit people.
Yeah.
No one gives a fuck about a mortgage except once every 15 to 30 years, right?
Yeah, correct.
Unless they're a real estate investor. So therefore, they're probably not, your consumers definitely don't care 99% of the time or more. Of the people you're trying to recruit, there's a lot of job hopping in the mortgage industry because it's commission only and a lot of joints.
Yep.
So high churn rate. That said, in order to stand out when everyone else is talking about mortgages, why don't you just act like someone that's badass to work for, someone that's running a badass business? Make it known you own a mortgage company, sure, but don't talk about mortgages all day. No one cares.
Yeah.
They all pass them the same test you did, the NMLS license.
Yep.
Be a badass entrepreneur. Run a badass business. Talk about how badass your team is. Talk about how you're growing. That's what I would do on almost every platform. X is definitely no exception. That's how you're going to have a lot more success than trying to act like an expert specifically in the field. You should still make it clear you're an expert in the field. And that's not a blanket statement either. There's always situational and contextual situations where you want to talk specifically about the service or product that you offer to your audience.
Yeah. Well, that's all the time we have for today. Got anything else to add?
I'm back.
Yep. You want to shout out your handles real quick?
Yeah.
If people want to find you?
Yes.
Where can they listen? Where can they find you?
If you search Garrett Space Atkins on pretty much any platform, but namely X or Facebook or Instagram, you'll find me. My username is L Garrett Atkins L, no spaces, or you can just search Garrett Atkins. You'll see me. I have a purple circle around my profile picture.
There we go. All right. That's all the time we have for this week. If you enjoyed this video, or as always, if you're still listening, please like, review, subscribe, comment, share it with a friend.
Tell us what you want to hear about.
Yeah. Leave a comment. What do you want to hear about? What do you want to hear us talk about? That'd be great. Great idea, Garrett. Just
if you
marketing.
Tell us, we'll talk about it.
He's a marketing genius. That's why we had him on Marketing Monday. That's right. If we record and release videos all the time on this channel, and of course, every single Monday we record and release a Marketing Monday episode. So please tune in again. We'll see you all soon, and thank you for the love.
Bye-bye.
Bye.